Very much. Thank you to all the participants for joining. And thank you to Inceptive for organizing this session. As Purva mentioned, my name is Françoise, and I'm here tonight as a certified educator of infant massage. That means that I'm certified to train parents or caregivers, extended family members, anyone who is usually with the child, to offer babies and young children infant massage. Very briefly, before we start, I'd like to mention quickly the organization that I belong to is called the International Association of Infant Massage, IAIM, and you can look it up and find out more about what happens. They are present all over the world, and they offer training courses for anybody who's interested in becoming an educator of infant massage. So I encourage you to go online and take a look. The organization was started in the 1970s by a lady named Vimala McClure. And Vimala wanted to become a yoga teacher, and so she traveled to India, where she observed, how happy, joyful, and peaceful children were, despite material conditions that were very different than what she had experienced growing up in the United States. And then, so she was living in an orphanage where she took yoga classes, and she also volunteered. And she observed children, boys and girls, taking turns to give massages to the babies to help them sleep. And she saw the benefits of that for the children. And she realized actually that, that massage in general had had a huge influence on the community where she was staying. And then shortly before she left, she contracted malaria, which comes with, among other things, a very high fever. And there were no doctors in that area, but she was cared for 24/7 by women who massaged her until her fever broke and she was able to travel home. And so she came home with a strong desire to learn more about infant massage and to make it available to people in this country. So here we go. We're going to begin with the actual presentation. As I'm going, if you think of questions, please feel free to type in your questions, and Purva is going to be keeping an eye on that, and we'll take breaks every now and then, so that this really is in response to your needs and what you would like us to present tonight. So please don't hesitate. If you think of any questions, just type them in and we'll make sure that we have time for that. Thank you. So infant massage has many benefits, and the benefits are, if you think of it in terms of concentric circles, there are benefits for the baby. That's what we'll go over first. And then moving outwards from that, there are benefits for the parents and caregivers who are offering the baby massage. There are also benefits for the extended family. And then if you take that one step further, there are also benefits for society as a whole. So we'll start by talking about the benefits for the baby. There are four main types of it. There's the interaction, the stimulation, the relaxation, and the relief. Interaction promotes bonding and secure attachment. You've probably heard of both these terms, and sometimes they're used kind of in an interchangeable way. Bonding actually refers to the very strong connection, that feeling of tenderness and love, and very deep connection between a parent and their child. So mother or father, both parents, and to an extent extended family as well. When you really bond with your child or grandchild, you experience those very strong bonds Sometimes that can happen as early on as during pregnancy. Sometimes definitely at birth is another strong time for bonding to occur. And sometimes it happens later on. Sometimes the physical condition of the mother shortly after the birth isn't really conducive, or doesn't make it very easy for bonding to happen right away. And it could happen, in the days and weeks after that. And so at any rate, bonding goes from the direction of the parent towards the child. What we call a secure attachment is a two-way connection between the child and the parent or the adult caregiver. And it's defined really as that relationship that you and your baby build over time that really helps your baby to feel secure and loved and ready to face the world based on their relationship with you. So that attachment also can begin immediately, and it grows and develops and changes through life. If you have older children in your family or children of different ages, you'll know that the type of attachment can be just as secure, but it can evolve over time. I have 2 children of my own who are now young adults, and the feelings of connection are definitely the same, but the nature of the relationship, of course, evolves over time. The interaction also gives you the opportunity, and it gives the baby the opportunity to receive both verbal and nonverbal communication from you. Verbal, of course, because you can talk to your child, you can explain, now I'm going to rub your foot, I'm going to rub your toes, and so forth. You can also sing. Singing is, of course, almost a timeless, I think since we became humans, we probably started singing to our babies. And that's something that we always suggest and encourage when we're giving massage, as well as the nonverbal communication of eye contact, skin to skin, that just the sound of the voice, the recognition of each other's scent, and in general, all the actions that the baby receives that give them messages that they are loved and respected and cared for. The undivided attention during the interaction of infant massage, studies have shown that, especially these days, a lot of parents go back to work when their children are very little. And I know that a lot of studies have been done, that show that even if you're able to offer your child 30 minutes of quality, undivided attention time daily, that your child's needs will be met for that connection with you as their parent or main caregiver. And I think that that's important for us to remember, in this busy world where a lot of us feel, that we can't spend as much time with our young child as we would like to. And so during infant massage, we give undivided attention by looking at the infant, singing, really being totally engaged in what we're doing. And, this shared trust and love between us and the baby really allows that baby to develop in terms of self-confidence, feelings that they are loved and respected and well cared for by the people who are spending quality time with them. And during this interaction, all of the senses are being stimulated. We talked about eye contact, of course, touch, the smell, the sound of the voice, the sense of the body in space, which is a sense that's called proprioception. Through this touch, the baby learns, where their body is, where it ends, how it moves, the difference between their body and your hands, and just, a sense of where they are in relation to the world. And so all of these things are offered through the interaction when we give massage. The stimulation, that's often the first thing that comes to mind, is, you know, the physical stimulation of the baby's body. When we offer massage on a regular basis, the physical benefits are enormous for the baby. Massage aids in the development of all of the baby's body system. It supports a healthy circulation, healthy breathing, and healthy gastrointestinal functions. It aids in the baby's sensory integration and their body awareness. And so it helps your baby learn how their body feels, what its limits are. We talked about proprioception. It really gives the baby this sense of this is my body. Then they start to associate the language. You know, when you say, I'm going to rub your hand, and then they get that feeling, they start to put these things together. So it helps make neural connections and supports the neurological development of your baby. This is also supported by the conversation that you'll have with your child, the singing that you will do perhaps, and then the associating language with sensations. So overall, you know, the baby gets a sense of feeling loved, feeling this beautiful touch. All their senses are engaged, but in a very gentle and loving way. And this really helps the baby find that relaxed state that is actually, you know, the one that's the most conducive to sensory motor development. And of course, as we massage babies, just like when we receive massage ourselves, you know, the muscles of the body are developed and toned. And the baby is also, you know, you are able to also understand if there are changes in your baby's body. Maybe if they react to a certain form of touch, you might be able to understand that something is painful or something is beneficial. And so, you know, the stimulation that the baby gets really is very helpful for their development. Relaxation. Who has ever had a massage and come out feeling more stressed? I don't think anybody can say that, or I hope not anyway. You know, and so you can imagine for this baby, you know, who might be a newborn, fairly new to the world, and all the stimulation and the sensory inputs that they receive, you know, that are stressful. And then they have this wonderful moment in their day with you, and the massage that they receive allows them to really relax their body and transition from a more active state into a state that's more conducive to sleep. Regular massage will help the baby become more flexible. You know that when babies are born, they have certain reflexes, and their bodies are often also in certain positions as a result from having been in the womb. You know, they're often a little bit curled up and crunched up. And so by gently massaging and moving their limbs, they have the opportunity to just relax and become a little bit more flexible and stretch their bodies out, which also helps them regulate themselves. Behavioral states, very briefly, there are waking states, sleep states, and then transitional states in between. And, you know, we all have these. And many babies have a hard time at the end of the day transitioning from an active waking state into a sleep state. And so massage has been, you know, there have been many studies that show, and you will definitely observe this when you massage your baby, is that it really assists and supports the baby's transition from a more active state going towards a more sleepy state. And so if your baby has a difficult time towards the end of the day, which many babies do, just as a result of, you know, having been through a day of stimulation, this really helps them to transition into a state where they can sleep. And when they sleep, studies have also shown that they sleep longer, they sleep more deeply, And so that is also helpful for their development. And so all of this can come when you learn how to massage your baby. Stress hormones are also reduced. Hypersensitivity is lowered. The heart rate is lowered. And the baby gets into a state where the parasympathetic nervous system is activated. That's called, sometimes referred to as the rest and digest state. You know, that state where when you've enjoyed a meal, you just kind of rest and your body's doing the work that it needs to do, but you're in that kind of calm, relaxed, and happy state. That's the state that the baby will enter with massage. And over time, when the baby consistently receives this form of support in transitioning between states, they learn how to do that, and they learn that their body is going through these states. And so the babies over time are able to self-soothe themselves more easily, calm, and find relaxed states by themselves. Next, let's see, here we go. So relief, as a result of massaging your baby, there are all kinds of ways in which your baby will find relief. Gas and colic is something that many babies struggle with, and their parents as well, because the babies have, sometimes have difficulty digesting. And so there's a routine which I'd like to show you before we end today, called the gas and colic relief routine, which is just a sequence of very few movements. And when you do this with your baby, it helps relieve those little aches at the end of the day or after a meal. And with practice and observation, you will learn, when is a good time. Oftentimes, if you do this maybe 20 to 30 minutes before your baby typically gets those symptoms of gas and colic, it will actually relieve them. Oftentimes the baby might have a bowel movement or will just relax their bodies more as a result. In general, the relief helps with any kind of muscular tension. Sometimes, babies, their bodies are clenched and they don't really know how to relax, and this will help them find relief from that. Anything from teething discomfort to growing pains, all of these different aches and pains that children naturally go through can be alleviated when you give them massage. This also helps relax the nervous system, because we use oil, and I'll talk a little bit more about that maybe when I show you the specific strokes. We use oil when we massage, and so being regularly massaged with oil will help with things like dry skin, and will help the baby's skin to feel soft. Oxygen levels have been shown to improve, and just an overall sense of security and being loved. And so all of these forms are ways in which your baby will receive relief after a massage. Maybe, are there any questions at this point, Purva?
So I have actually a question.
Mm-hmm.
So this all sounds really great, but at what age we can start giving the massage? Can we massage a newborn baby, or we have to wait for a couple of months?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. You can actually start massaging a baby very, very soon after they're born. Once you come home and you're settled, and the baby and you have some kind of a routine, you can start anytime. There's no reason to not give a baby a massage. Of course, if there are any particular health issues, you would want to check that with your doctor. But in general, for a baby who is healthy, there's no reason not to start very early on. It's up to you to choose a time. Oftentimes, when you're going to bathe your baby or after the bath, for example, you'd like it to be at a time when the baby is awake and alert, but not too active. And so, you will know when is a good time for that. Sometimes your massage might put the baby to sleep, and that's okay. You can, continue with some gentle touch, or just placing your hands on the baby gently and letting them sleep or get some rest. But yes, you can start at any time, and then you can continue massage really as long as you want. There are certain times, like when the baby is learning to be mobile. A crawling baby sometimes does not want to stop, or a baby who's starting to walk. And so at that time, you may need to modify your routine a little bit, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that your baby will not want massage anymore. It probably just means that, they're driven to get moving. And so you can kind of massage what you can get. So sometimes, it's, you can massage a foot, or, the shoulders, or, break it down. Instead of doing your whole routine, you might need to shorten the routine, or break it down over the course of the day. But generally, once that phase has gone, baby is more than happy to pick up again with massage.
Got it. I have one more question. So, can a dad also give a massage? For example, can my husband give a massage to our baby, or you recommend moms do it?
It's absolutely fine. There's no difference between mom or dad giving massage. And actually, we encourage all partners to work in the same way with the children. It's a wonderful way for parents to connect. If you would like to take the class, the 5 sessions that we're offering, I'd be more than happy if both partners want to attend. That's absolutely fine. Or if one shows to the other, it's a great way for mom and dad, any partners, to take turns or to learn how to massage their infant. Absolutely.
Great, thank you. I don't see any other questions, so I think we can move on.
Okay, great. As well as there being benefits for the baby, there are also benefits for the parents, and I'm going to go through these also. So we talked about bonding and attachment. So they are the ways that the parents and caregivers form a close, loving connection with the baby, and through which we learn how to best care for our children. And they are also ways for us to receive in return the love and the feelings of closeness that the baby will communicate with us. The next benefit that I wrote down here is mindfulness. As I said, we're all quite busy as parents and caregivers, and giving yourself the gift of being present, and fully accepting of your baby, for the 15, 20, 30 minutes, however much time you can devote to giving your child a massage. Being fully present and mindful is really a gift that you can give yourself, because it allows you to leave the rest of the day behind, to really focus on yourself and your child and that connection between you. And it allows you to relax as well. It's shown that, as well as the baby receiving physical benefits, your heart rate lowers, you detach from the day, and actually the benefits that you receive are very similar to the benefits of meditation. And so, you can think of this as a kind of a 30 or 20-minute meditation that you will do with your child, every day if you can do it. and you will receive the same kinds of benefits. Studies also show that, you know, even a few minutes of high quality time are key to your baby's well-being and health. And as I mentioned before, you know, from the adult's point of view, this allows us to at least not have to feel guilty. Sometimes, you know, we feel guilty that we can't do everything that we wanted to do. Sometimes we feel that we're forced back into the workplace before we're ready, and we worry about the impacts on our baby. But, you know, this really allows us to feel that we're competent, we're good caregivers, we have learned, you know, techniques that work. They have, you know, massage is an ancient art that has been here for centuries probably, you know, and that we are learning this and passing it along to our children. And it allows us to, you know, to increase our feelings of self-esteem and self-confidence. It's also because of all the other benefits, you know, women who are still nursing their babies often find that relaxing and connecting in this way with their baby actually supports their production of milk. And so, you know, all of these benefits for the parents, you know, really make it feel worthwhile. Are there any further questions that have come in between?
No.
Not right now? Okay.
Move on. Yeah.
I'll just carry on, and then we'll see if there are questions, and I'd love to show you a few of the massage techniques that we use then. Thank you.
Great.
So as we extend out from the parents now to the family, you can actually involve older siblings, if you like, in massaging the baby. You know, it's great for the older siblings' self-esteem, the connection between them and the younger child, which sometimes can be a little bit challenging. Extended family also can be involved. I actually remember when both my children, they were probably 5 and 7, and at a summer camp, they had somebody come in and teach them how to give a massage. And when they came home at the end of the day, my daughter massaged my face. So first of all, she massaged her cousin who was 6. She was 5. He was 6, and he actually fell asleep. And this kid had very high energy levels. So nobody could believe it. He fell asleep in a couple of minutes. Then she massaged my face, and I can almost still remember, you know, the touch of their hands are so little, and she was so gentle, you know, and how she just rubbed my temples and rubbed like this, and she massaged. It was just so beautiful. And so, you know, I strongly encourage you to make this kind of a family ritual. If you have older children and you're just discovering massage now, by all means, you know, learn some strokes and offer them to your older children as well. It's a wonderful way to connect as a family. You know, it promotes a lovely, relaxed home environment. As your children get older, you know, it improves also their communication, their understanding of their bodies, and, you know, they're able to say, you know, my neck really hurts, I'd really like a massage over here, or something like that. And so it's really a wonderful and very respectful tool that we use. I'm going to add something now that I was going to save for later, but I want to make sure I remember, is that as part of this routine, we always, even starting with a newborn, we always ask the baby for their consent before we give a massage. And, you know, that's definitely a practice that I would encourage you all to engage in with your children. You know, children grow up understanding that, you know, they have a choice about this, and you learn to understand even your baby's cues. You know, you will notice when your baby does not wish to receive a massage, or when they're done with massage, and so forth. And, you know, I think it's a wonderful way to empower our children, that they have a choice. And so now I'm going to just put the last slide, society as a whole. So I mentioned Vimala McClure, who began the Association of Infant Massage, and her wish, really her desire, was that through massage we can truly change society. We can change the world one baby at a time, so that people learn to treat one another with respect, kindness, and caring. So that's the end of this kind of more formal part of the presentation. I'm happy to have any questions at this time, or we could also move on and I can maybe stop the slide.
Yeah,
I think we try that.
Yeah, I think we could do the demo and see if there are questions.
Okay.
And this session is really for you. So please don't be shy, ask questions. Francoise is here for you. So please do take advantage while she is here.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Also, if you have any questions about the workshop, the 5 sessions that we would like to offer you after this, feel free to ask any kinds of questions, practical questions, anything that that you would like. And I'm going to see if I can make a bit of a shift here so that I can place my baby. Here's my baby. And so this is a massage doll that we use these dolls when we're learning the techniques. And I'm going to demonstrate. Let me see, maybe Purva, if you want to give me some feedback as well.
Yeah.
On how.
Yeah, now we can see the baby.
How this looks.
So we can see the baby on the table, but we can't see your face.
Okay, my face is, I don't mind if you don't see my face, as long as you can see my hands.
Yes.
And I'm going to be focusing on, this area of the baby. So just to give you a quick introduction, I'm going to show you the different strokes that we use for what we call the gas and colic routine. And this is something that's always very helpful to people with very little children. I'll just mention a couple of things very briefly before. So the first thing is, when you massage your baby, you want to have, if you have a kind of a waterproof pad, kind of like those changing pads, that you can take with you, that's helpful. Or you can just put a towel down underneath the baby's, so depending on which part of the body we massage, that part is always unclothed, so that you can really, and your baby can really experience the skin to skin of your hand on their body. And so some of these movements, especially the gas and colic routine, can cause the baby to urinate or have a bowel movement, which is fine, but you want to be prepared. So, have a towel, maybe a little pad underneath, and maybe have a clean diaper ready and the other supplies so that you would like to use for changing your baby. And just be aware that this might happen. We also use oil, and we don't use scented oils. Typically, what I suggest is, oil that you have in your kitchen, something that you would use for cooking. Remember that your baby might, if it's on their hand or arm, they may put it in their mouth. There is no risk of a baby having an allergy to any particular kind of fragrance or anything like that. So, coconut oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, any kind of oil that you have at home is usually fine. And you will put just a few drops on your hands. Rub your hands together like this and show your baby and look at them in the eyes. Very quickly, they'll start to associate this sound, the smell of the oil, the sound of you rubbing your hands, and the expectation that they will receive a massage. And so when you ask your baby, I would like to massage your tummy now, I see that you're a little uncomfortable. Is that okay? And then, they may look at you, they may look away, they may turn their bodies away. This probably means that they're not interested in the massage right now, but otherwise you would start. And so I'm going to just loosen this baby's diaper. You can, just keep the diaper over them if you like, or remove it completely. I think I'll remove it so that you can see as well as possible. And we're going to do a sequence here for now. So we're going to demonstrate a routine called gas and colic relief routine, and I'm going to demonstrate this on my little massage baby right here. And I'll place the baby this way, and so you should be able to see. I'm going to just put it like that. That's actually perfect. Thank you, Paula. And so, you want to have, I know I said all this before, but I'll just go over it again very briefly. A towel or some kind of waterproof pad, like a little changing pad, if you have that underneath the baby, and it's good for the room to be warm enough that your baby can be unclothed, either completely if that's easier for you, or you can, if it's a newborn and you're concerned about the baby being completely unclothed, you can just unclothe the part of the body that you will be massaging. So for now, we're going to be massaging the lower part of the stomach. So you could either remove the diaper completely, you could keep it here. It's fairly likely that your baby, unless they just did, if they have anything in their stomach, they'll either urinate or have a bowel movement, which is fine. You might want to have handy extra supplies for changing your baby. Sorry, Corva, I'm changing notice here. And so we'll start by putting a few drops of massage oil, and this is just regular unscented oil, just like the cooking oil that you use in your home. Coconut oil, almond oil is fine. Nothing with fragrances. We don't know whether the baby might have a reaction to anything that's added that's not a natural substance. And you also want to make sure that if the baby ingests it, for example, they might put their hand to their mouth, that there's no issue with any of that. So we put a few drops and we rub our hands together, and over time the baby will associate this sound with the expectation that a massage is about to occur. And then we'll ask the baby, I'd like to rub your tummy now. Let's see if we can help you with this gassy and colicky feeling. Is that okay? And you'll notice a reaction in your child. And so the first thing that we're going to do is what we call resting hands. Now that our hands are a little bit warm and we have the oil, we're just going to rest hands. You will naturally kind of, get a sense of the pressure that you want to apply. We're just resting our hands gently on the baby's stomach. And then we're going to do a move called the water wheel, where you alternate left hand over right, and you gently place your hand on the baby's stomach below the rib cage and gently move it down towards the bottom of the stomach. Again, just applying light pressure, the amount of pressure that you feel is good. And this is about the speed at which we'll go. And we'll do this 4 or 5 times. There we go. So we're moving from the rib cage down toward the legs. Then we're going to hold the baby's legs and bend them at the knees. My baby's a little bit funny in different ways than your babies are going to be. And we very gently hold the knees together and push them gently into the tummy. And we hold for a slow count of about 5 or 6 seconds. And then if you want to, and if the baby seems to be enjoying this, you can gently bounce their legs. Now we're going to do a movement called sun and moon. So imagine the sun is the circle that you will do with your left hand. And so you do a clockwise circle. The intestines go in this direction. And so you're gently moving things through the intestine with this motion. So this hand is making constant circles, and then your other hand is coming in between, like this. So at one point when your hands cross, you're raising one hand and putting it back down. Meanwhile, the other hand is following a circular motion. And you do this 5 or 6 times as well, gently. And then we'll again, the baby's knees, bring them up and gently push them into the tummy. And seeing how your baby reacts to this. There we go. A few gentle bounces, sometimes that feels good, even rocking from side to side. You know, kind of follow your instincts and watch your baby, and you will discover the things that work the best. And so those 5 motions, the resting hands, the water wheel, putting the knees up, the sun and moon, and then again, the knees going up. That is the sequence of movements for the relief of colic and gas. It's something that you can do 2 or 3 times a day for maybe 5 or 10 minutes total. If you know, if your child's colic and gas is predictable, and you try this maybe 20 to 30 minutes before they start having those feelings of discomfort, oftentimes that will help. And you know, you and your baby together will see how that would help the best. So that's one example of the techniques that we will use. Thank you.